So today we're going to talk through strategies for list growth, journeys, and audience segmentation from beginner to expert level. We're going to look at how real brands are actually taking these strategies and applying them in real time. And then we're going to talk through the latest attentive tools that you can implement to take your program to the next level. So let's take a look at why an optimized SMS program is a necessity. In our conversations with you, we understand that running a top-performing marketing program is really hard work. And when we surveyed over 900 marketers today, the top 3 that popped up was list growth, increasing conversion rates, and reducing opt-outs. And we know that there's a lot more. The common theme that we hear in client strategy, speaking to all of you, is that budgets are tight and bandwidth is even tighter. So when you have a ton on your plate, how do you know what to focus on? What is moving the needle? And that's why optimizing your SMS program is essential. When I talk to my clients, there were 2 top priorities that always pop up in our conversations. Increasing customer lifetime value by identifying and targeting cross-sell and upsell opportunities, and driving incremental value by sending personalized SMS with offers and messages as unique as each customer. So let's get into how you can achieve these goals with Attentive across the funnel. In today's session, we're going to focus on these 3 core opportunities. We have acquisition, which I'm going to cover, conversion with Liam, and retention with Sarah. So let's start at the top of the funnel with subscriber acquisition, because we know that growing your SMS subscriber list is directly correlated to driving more revenue. Now, hopefully by now you have all seen this slide, but if you haven't, this is Attentive's patented 2-tap sign-up experience, and this is where your list growth begins. With our sign-up experience, we capture subscribers in a compliant and seamless way, which actually increases opt-ins by up to 2 times compared to manual entry, which significantly reduces that barrier to SMS opt-ins. We also validate every phone number to ensure that it is real so that we can keep your database clean. And then we instantaneously send a welcome message so that we can build trust in the phone number. And then we drive them to purchase right away with a link to your website. But those are just some of the basics. So let's get into some of the other options. There are so many ways to expand your list growth strategy, so let's get into a few of them. Firstly, you can implement a bubble on every single page on your website, allowing your customers to opt into SMS at every stage of the purchasing funnel. Or you can add additional sign-up units on those pages that really do convert for you. Or maybe you want to give your site visitors a reason to stay. Just as they're about to leave, offer them an incentive to stay on the website and convert with exit intent. Or you could utilize our checkout integration. Which allows you to capture high intent shoppers at checkout by asking them if they want to subscribe to additional offers. Or you can promote using your social media following. So capturing that first party data with a super engaged audience and utilizing stories and highlights to get users to sign up to SMS from there. And research shows that customers who subscribe to both email and SMS spend more. So you need to ensure that you're capturing your email subscribers and they're signing up to SMS. So you can do that with dedicated emails or email banners and dedicated landing pages. So those are a few placements. Let's go and explore some of the different sign-up units that we have to offer. So we see at Attentive that brands with 3 different sign-up units live at a time drive the most list growth. So let's have a look at a few of them. Spin to Win. Spin to Win is an interactive, gamified sign-up unit that allows you to diversify your list growth strategy and really creates a fun experience for the user. I know there have been plenty of times where I'm hoping for that 50% off, and I always seem to get 5 or 10, but it's a super fun experience, and I always click through and sign up. Or maybe you're running a major sale or have a big summer campaign coming up. A countdown timer is a fantastic way to maximize list growth and drive awareness. Or you can match your sign-up units to your shopper's mindset. Maybe you have exclusive or limited batch products. Creating a waitlist for that launch builds suspense, a sense of urgency, which will help drive subscriptions up. And social proofing builds trust. By conveying how popular your sign-up offer is as well as adding a little bit of urgency. So let's look at optimizing your units even more. Now, for a lot of my customers who are in the room, they know that the pre-engagement unit is probably one of my favorites when it comes to optimizing your list growth strategy. You can see here that Books implemented a pre-engagement step to emphasize the value of their welcome offer of 20%. So at the very beginning of the sign-up unit, we confirm the customer's intent to opt in by saying, hey, 120% off? The results really do speak for themselves. Books increased their SMS conversions by 25% and saw a 45% growth in email subscribers. And I have a few clients in the room who can attest to that on their accounts too. But we know that your audience isn't just online. And another great way to grow your list is through physical environments. By utilizing an attentive QR code, you are able to get your customers to sign up in those physical areas, whether it be in your store or maybe at an event, at a talk show. Wherever you're doing it, you can get users to sign up. And it's actually a really nice way to drive loyalty with those customers because you can offer exclusive SMS opt-in offers to customers who shop with you in store. And think about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. A lot of sales now start online before they start in store. So you want to make sure that those customers who do come into the store sign up to SMS so you can tell them when your sale starts by sending them a text message. So you're doing all of this, but how do you know that you found the best strategy? And for those of you who are a little bit more experienced, how do you continuously optimize your program? Now, I don't need to explain testing to a room full of marketers, I'm sure, but there are plenty of A/B testing opportunities when it comes to your list growth that I would love to run through that you could potentially utilize in your program. So we see that list growth tools perform differently based on if the user is on mobile or desktop. So a mobile versus desktop A/B test is the beginning to start with. It's the easiest test to set up, and you will be able to understand your customers' intent and engagement on their different platforms. Or maybe you want to try a lifestyle image versus a product image on your sign-up unit. Or gathering additional customer attributes, such as birthday or gender. Or you can even A/B test different incentives, maybe 10% versus 15%, or maybe you want to see how an offer compares versus a giveaway, free delivery, gifts with purchase. The ideas are endless. So we've covered list growth as an acquisition strategy. So let's move on to optimizing your conversions through journeys. And with that, I would love to introduce Liam to the stage.
Absolutely nailed it, by the way. Hello, everyone. Yes, just as Joel said, my name's Liam Jakes. I work as a client strategy manager here at Attentive. And I speak to customers like all of you every day. And the thing I'm hearing the most at the moment is, in an uncertain economy, how do we find what works and ultimately do more of that over time? And I think one of the key ways in which we can actually achieve that goal is through journeys. So journeys are the next optimization that are going to save you time, but we're also going to drive revenue as well through these. The large beauty of this as well, as it says here, is these are automatic. And so we're going to hopefully make sure that your time is being spent on the things that are going to push the needle for you and your business. So first, who has got a journey like this set up with Attentive today? By a show of hands. Yes, lots of you. So you'll know then that these are the always-on flows that drive success for your business. They are highly effective because there are two things. They're both timely and they're behavior-based. And so we're going to attract and interact with customers throughout the entire journey of their life cycle. And as I mentioned, one of the key aspects is they can be set up and run without much heavy lifting on your side. Now, as you can see from cart abandonment on the right-hand side here, you can start to see it's 125x in terms of ROI improvement. So this is really key to go and get set up. And these three are probably your foundation when it comes to journeys when working with Attentive. One thing I will say, although these can be set up and left, one of the great aspects, one of the things you should do throughout this is test, refine, and look at different ways in which you can improve these journeys themselves. So let's get started really with the first step itself. So the first step, welcome flows. So welcome flows are the initial interaction you have with your customer base. So at this point, a customer has made a decision to share with you some very valuable information, and that's their mobile phone number. Some people have had a mobile phone number longer than they've had a bank account. And so the sharing of this, we need to go and really make the most of that time. When this is done well, it delivers incredible value. So here's some simple tips, as you can start to see, on how to make these great. So the first one, we're looking at sharing valuable tips and tutorials themselves. So we see this a lot in the beauty industry. As you can tell, I know about that very well. We actually see people share videos, information, updates based on ways in which they can use products. And this starts to drive that loyalty and trust in the products themselves. We also, as you can see, some from Monsoon and Long Tall Sally, some fantastic way to actually incentivize some of the marketing, the customer with an offer itself as well. So a brilliant way to get people to start to interact. Then we have the exclusive perks of loyalty schemes. Now, this is something we see more and more when we're interacting with brands, is they want to have loyal customers that are interacting with them regularly, and they're setting up loyalty schemes. And so within that welcome journey, highlighting the perks and the reasons that they should join a loyalty scheme at the very beginning is a fantastic start of a welcome journey itself. And the final one here as well is just adding the link to your bestsellers page. So these are your flagship products. These are ones that we know and we trust that people will want to buy. And so adding that there and hedging your bets that those are going to be great products for them is a fantastic way to start off in a welcome flow. So there's some fantastic ideas of welcome journeys. Now, we've got 3 separate welcome journeys here. We have subscriber offer, the zero-party data collection, and the voucher reminder. So let's just start with Claire's at the beginning. This is probably one of our most popular formats of welcome journey. It's 10% off at this side, incentivizing buying decision early on in the process. Victoria Beckham Beauty have gone down a slightly different route. So they've started to look at how you can use two-way SMS, which you might have heard a little bit before in the sessions earlier today, to actually find out information about the customer. They then use that to be highly personalized and make sure that all the messaging that is being sent from then on is exactly what the customer wants to see, and you're providing value again at that side. It's almost a little bit like having a personal shopper at this side. And then we have Charlotte Tilbury, who did a brilliant job of bringing people back when they didn't actually convert or use their code straight away within those first journeys. All 3 slightly different ways of utilizing a journey itself, but all very, very effective. So now they're a member, but they haven't moved past actually just being a browser on your website. Where do we go next? So here are some of the key things that we suggest to include during this process. So if you can, redirect to the last touch page that they've been on. The reasoning behind that, again, we're being more personalized as we can be. We're making sure that we're giving them exactly what they want to see. We want to incentivize through extra discounts, points. We want to make sure that we're rewarding people for interacting with your brand. And then we want to orchestrate through email and SMS. And that's something, again, you might have heard throughout the whole process during these speeches today, that we always see higher conversion rates when you start to orchestrate SMS and email successfully. The final part here as well is for those customers who are a little bit on the edge of purchasing. We want to highlight some of the support options that they have, so they can ask questions and make sure that they can get conversions from that side. So this is brilliant when you're setting up the welcome journeys and the start, but what happens when something interrupts the purchase funnel so they don't actually make that purchase? And the typical reason we see this, especially in e-commerce, is through low stock. So what we want to do is to turn this sort of the process of a negative experience into a positive one, and we do that through low and back in stock messaging. So we can actually link up some products as part of a product catalog. We can start to notify your customers when products are back and available, when there's stock clearances, even when there's seasonal restocks. We also know who your VIP customers are as well, and those are most important to your brand. And so at this side, we can start to exclusively target them as well with product recommendations, with key benefits and new releases as well. So a fantastic way here to go and use stock notifications to grow. And you can see amazing use case here from Kitsch as well. The next part here is cart abandonment as a whole. So cart abandonment really is the tipping point when it comes to driving conversions, and it can be the difference between losing and gaining a customer at this side. So here's some simple ways that we suggest getting them over the line at this point. So we have shipping deadlines. So shipping deadlines, we start to look around things like Christmas, Valentine's Day, for example, and we're letting people know that there is a time frame before delivery. So we're incentivizing and putting a sense of urgency on the messaging to ensure that it hits the shipping deadlines themselves. We also have payment options. So these are things like Klarna, for example, who you can have a 30-day payment scheme or pay over 3, for example. And these are really great for those higher value items as well, just to help people to be able to actually afford the payment that they're looking for and make purchases very manageable. We also have incentivizing completion, which we've talked a bit about already with special offers and discount codes, and then also as well price drop notifications, which are fantastic for those people who are a little more price conscious. So they've made a purchase, and how do we keep them coming back from this point? Well, we look at post-purchase power plays. And so in order to do this, we have these 5 key areas. The challenge with these is to keep the customer engaged and convert them time and time again, extending their lifetime value. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer things such as order status to boost trust in the deliveries and make sure people are comfortable when their orders are coming through. We have replenishment reminders when products have gone, when your product may have been used. For example, if you have a hair product, and you know over time that that product runs out after about 30 days, we start to inform the customer ahead of time so they can make a purchase and make sure that you are still driving your conversions yourself. We have complementary products, and that doesn't just mean at checkout itself, that also means later on down the line. So, for example, if I had these dirty trainers here, the customer might, the business might know that you want those shoes cleaned later on down the line. And so we're going to go and promote later on through a message promoting a shoe cleaning product that we know the customer's going to want. And ultimately there, we're driving loyalty for your brand, but we're also really showing some value during that whole process. Another one I just want to touch on at the bottom here as well is just through key dates, so customer anniversaries, birthdays, etc., and just being very conscious that we can utilize those again to drive people to through the end of the funnel. So through this personalized customer experience and the relevant recommendations that apply directly to each customer, they've moved out of that one-time buyer situation. Now we want to go and develop them even more. So you've heard a little bit about this today, but two-way SMS is a fantastic way and the next step in terms of conversing with your customer base. You can see from the fantastic example over here from Only Curls, they're actually asking about what the customer wants to see. They then utilize that information later on to offer personalized experiences, and then we actually create segments off the back of that for things such as gift guides, product category suggestions, budgets, etc. And so a brilliant way in which you can take your SMS to the next step. So I just want to go through quickly on a fantastic case study itself. So Elimis actually used two-way SMS, and they used it during the browse abandonment part of their journey. They asked the question again about what the customer wanted to see, and then stored that information to use later. They actually sent 50% of the customers to this tailored product recommendation, and then based on the interest, and the other 50 not. And then they re-engaged those with a high nudge, a high important nudge, as you can see at the bottom here. And this led to incredible results. So 28 times in terms of conversion rate and 6 times in terms of click-through. So a really important journey for them. And since this, they've updated all of their browse abandonment journeys to be two-way SMS. So just shows how successful this can be. So the final piece I just want to go through, and we've touched this a couple of times, is around A/B testing. So we want to be constantly updating, renewing, and looking at our journeys. Although for a lot of the time they can be sat and sort of set and forget, we want to ensure that we're constantly updating them and working closely with your client strategy manager to achieve better results and continue to improve. So I'd always recommend, as you can see here, some fantastic A/B tests as well. So that's pretty much me there. Now we've got the most out of journeys. I'm going to hand over to Sarah to go for the next section on retention. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
There you go.
Thank
well
you.
done. Thanks.
So, thanks, Liam. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah McLaughlin, and I'm a client strategy manager here at Attentive. So we've heard from Joel on how to grow your subscriber list. We've also heard from Liam on how to convert your journeys. So we're going to now talk about segmentation and how to increase your ROI through retention. So survey studies show that 56% of UK marketers still struggle to target their audiences effectively. We know that retention is key to segmentation, and there's a need to segment in creative and tailored ways now more than ever. So let's dive into some of our advanced tactics on how we can segment. So what you'll see behind me is a framework for implementing and using customer segmentation. So we first start by collecting customer data, and we can do this through our segmentation on sign-up units or two-way conversations. Following that, we will then choose a model. So for the example today, we'll go through engagement, but you can choose this model based on your particular business. From there, you're going to choose a criteria. And so the criteria will be a list of rules that are applied to that model. So if we're using engagement, it can be windows of attribution, so 30, 60, 90, along those lines. From there, we'll monitor progress. So what learnings are coming across from this criteria, and we can refine that criteria through monthly reviews. And then when in doubt, we'll A/B test. As with anything, to get the best results is to test. And you can refine your discount offers. You can also change your message frequency. And those are great ways to A/B test in a segmentation strategy. So let's dive into the example here. So as we mentioned, we know segmentation is key to retention. And once you have a decently sized list of subscribers, what segments should you be using? And now I wish I could say that it's a one size fits all, but with my clients, I've seen a variety of different segmentation strategies that work incredibly well, and this varies across brand and vertical. The more that we're able to target your subscribers with relevant content, the more likely they'll click and convert. So the table that you'll see on the screen here is an amazing place to start with a flexible framework, and we'll work together to evolve this over time. So what you'll see across the top is 4 broad areas: super, moderately, less engaged, and our seasonal win-backs. Now, the holiday pushes we're going to send to every segment. But for your weekly and monthly sends, this is when you want to get a bit more selective with your highly subscribed or highly segmented subscribers. And then again, we'll scale this framework to your brand, and when in doubt, we'll test. Now, this isn't a science, but this, again, is a great place to start thinking about segmentation, and from there, we can scale this to your particular business. So now let's dive into a couple overarching ways in which we can segment your super engaged subscribers through a VIP channel. So to enable a truly exclusive experience, you can leverage your SMS channel to create a VIP channel. So start by developing a criteria. This can be based on average order value, total spend, or purchase frequency, and then provide additional incentives to be part of that VIP program, so such as exclusive offers to create a sense of urgency or FOMO. The example that you'll see on the screen here, ColorWow has done a new product alert, alerting their VIP members of early access to a new product. This creates a sense of environment and makes your subscribers feel valued. So perhaps you've noticed your VIP shopping some categories more than others. So how can you boost your ROI here? You can maximize your popular best-selling categories, and some ideas on how to make that work. You can segment your customers based on categories, interactions, and purchases. Our attentive tag captures all of this on the website. From there, you can create alerts, offering newness to your audience and a reason to come back and repurchase. What we can see here, Spotlight Oral Care has used a great example of 50% off teeth whitening strips, and it's a great way to bring subscribers that have viewed that category of teeth whitening back to your website to repurchase. It's important to recognize that there are also some segments that people may want exclusions for as well. So moving into the offer to opt out of certain sensitive holidays. So example, Father's Day or Mother's Day. This personalization improves the overall customer experience. Offering the opt out for specific campaign messages prevents disengagement and further opt outs. And then it also gives the subscribers opportunities to re-engage during holidays such as Christmas or Black Friday when they are interested in receiving those campaign messages. Moving on, A/B testing is also just as important here to get the best results. So you can segment by geographical location, offer and code validity windows, and as well customer loyalty. So now you've got your segmentation framework down. Let's further personalize with integrations. So something else to consider here is that you maybe have all of this amazing data, sometimes outside of the Attentive UI. And you really want to have that all-encompassing descriptive customer profile for your subscribers. So how can we get that data into the Attentive platform? So fortunately, we have a marketplace within Attentive that has a ton of integration options. So what I would recommend starting with first is foundational, so your e-commerce platform. This is going to give you that additional product catalog level data to hone in on your customer specific category and product affinities, as well as purchase history. From there, you can also, going back to journeys, enable additional branching and trigger features, such as price drops and back in stock notifications. The next level following would be your ESP. And I hear this all the time from my clients. How can we orchestrate across multiple channels? And an integration just does just that. So helping you ensure that you're reaching the right subscriber at the right time on the right channel. And then following would be our advanced section, and this would be bonus points for any overachievers in the audience. Integrating your auxiliary programs to build segments and send loyalty status and engagements, things like that. We have loyalty programs, data analytics, shipping tracking, which are great ways to target shoppers to leave a review, notify them about their subscriptions, shipping updates, and more. And that brings us to the end of this session. I'll dive into our key learnings just as a summary here. So to round up today's session, we know that full funnel optimization is crucial to your success. Leveraging multiple channels when it comes to list growth is also going to be very important to the success of your SMS program. Your triggered journeys are going to save you time and drive the highest ROI. And finally, granular segmentation will lead to better customer experiences, higher conversions, and lower opt-outs. Thank you. So we do have some time for Q&A, so I'll have my colleagues come back up and join me on stage. And if you have any questions, there should be some mics around, and there's also some mic stands in the back corner.
With the discount codes, do you generate those within Attentive, or are they pulled from, say, Shopify?
Yep, so just your decision what you want to do. If you have Shopify integration, certainly we can go and pull those in. And again, with working with your client strategy manager, it's a really simple process to go and do that integration with Shopify.
So they could be used once, unique.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the fly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yep. Otherwise, you can upload a CSV file of unique codes, or you can also upload a shared offer code as well.
Great. Thank you.
You mentioned that you can target customers based on their affinity to shop like certain products or certain categories. Do you create those brand or product affinity models, or is that something that, like, if we have a brand affinity model on our side, for example, you could ingest that? I didn't know if that was part of the advanced section of like the ingesting the analytics, but I just wondered how that works.
Sure. So yeah, a few different ways again, really, in which we can sort of skin a cat on this one. So if you do want to, you can link in your product categories straight through itself, and we can have a product catalog that we link to there, and we have the products available, and then we'll use the tag itself then to go and ensure that we're linking the products that are being bought, and we can start to see how they relate to each customer. But if you do have external third parties that you want to go and work with, we are very open to go and discussing how you do those integrations and then essentially make it work. The key areas in which we probably look at, again, very much like Shopify, for example, is a key area in which we look. Thing I'd recommend as well is on the UI itself, there's the marketplace tab, and you can go into that into that tab there, and you'll be able to see a breakdown of a whole host of integrations we have. And then if it's not there, talk to your client strategy manager, and then they'll also be able to help with any integrations that might happen, that you might want to happen.
Yeah, and I'll just add on to that just quickly with the segmentations. The tag will track on your website which categories are seeing the most traffic, and we can base that on subscribers. So we can create segments based on specific categories like bestsellers or new in stock, or depending on what the brand is. And then with those segments, either create campaigns or even automated journey flows if someone has browsed a certain category.
Cross-channel integration, like stuff like with Klaviyo and stuff like that, the biggest pushback we have with clients almost is they receive an email, then they receive an SMS with the same message. How can we get away from that? And like in terms of like more of like a follow-up from the SMS, but also the channels actually talking to each other. Is there a way around that?
Yeah. Yeah. Attentive email and SMS together. No. So what I would recommend in those cases is aligning on what is your calendar for your email and your SMS, and trying to ensure that they complement each other and don't kind of conflict each other. So in those cases, if you have a email going out to X amount of subscribers and you have that messaging, then look at complementary messaging for the SMS. You're not repeating yourself. You're not just kind of wasting money on sending the same message, but actually choosing to complement what you're either saying in SMS with email or email with SMS.
Yeah, and I think as well, we're understanding our customers' preferences. And so, yeah, some people might want to receive email more than other people might want to receive SMS. And so recognizing that and then being tailored with your messaging from that side is really important as well. But as we've mentioned a couple of times throughout, we do see higher conversion rates when you're using them both together and you're working with your client strategy manager to orchestrate those. So it's worth talking through your calendar and let us know. Yeah, really, and we'll support you on that.
Yeah, and just also to add on, I think timing the SMS to be received first by the subscriber is a great way to get that message across. I think emails can get kind of lost in the shuffle, and SMS is usually the first one that's opened.
Hi, if you've got an infrequent purchase, so it's your customers that on average do a purchase once every year or once every 2 years. I'm in the travel industry. Outside of anniversary reminders, alerts, what would you recommend as a good SMS strategy?
I think loyalty is a great way to go. So if you are only kind of driving or sending SMSs a few times a year to these customers, then you should move around loyalty. So once they've signed up to the SMS program, rewarding them when they hit maybe a 6-month mark or a 1-year mark. Inspirational messaging, awareness messaging is also going to be really helpful. The most important thing I would say in that is with those inspirational messages, driving users to the web page so that the attentive tag can capture them, so that we know that, okay, these audiences are interested in this messaging, and then retargeting based off that. So we can build segments based off of all the users who land on that web page or who have clicked that short link in your SMS. And then you can build audiences from that, so that you know that when you next have messaging that is going to resonate with that audience, you can then message them. So that would be my recommendation.
With the LMS example of Father's Day preferences, is that information then saved in Preference Center so they don't have to get that kind of every year as a reminder if they want to receive that for a campaign?
Yes. So the way that we would set that up is if we're utilizing a journey, then we will append a custom attribute to that user. So that user will then always have that attribute of wanting to be opted out of that messaging. So then when you're building your campaigns or your journeys, you can actively exclude that audience and it will stay updated as everyone opts out.
And does that then feed into the email as well if you're with like a different ESP that they're not going to get asked on both sources?
That one I'm not too sure on.
It would depend if the data is being passed back or not to the ESP. We can definitely set that up with our white glove team, but it would be a custom API passback.
Hey, so as someone that's sort of quite new to the SMS world, I've been a bit more of an email person up until now. Would you recommend things like list cleaning and lapsing flows, almost where you don't offer a discount, but people that haven't, we were talking about like unengaged groups for a while earlier, kind of would you recommend kicking them off your list and like never sending to them again? And kind of what do you do with those people that aren't speaking to you, basically?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think with the segmentation, that's why it's so important to kind of segregate what your goals are if it is levels of engagement. I don't think it's necessarily to exclude them from everything, but I think those holiday pushes, as we mentioned, maybe biannual or annual sales, things like that, is important to engage with those subscribers. And then really prioritizing your highly engaged subscribers. So whether that's 30, 60, 90, 180, and going from there.
Yeah, exactly. I have quite a few customers who have been live with their SMS program for a few years. And what they typically do outside of their kind of very specific segmentation, they will typically kind of send their full batch list type messaging to their most engaged users. So users who have maybe engaged in the last 60 to 180 days. But they still do send full list batch messages when it comes to those bigger campaigns, your Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, where you really want to get those people engaged, because then we might actually be able to drive them back to the website and then build them into our engaged audiences again.
Yeah, and only one more thing I'd say just about like list clearance and stuff itself as well is just that the two-tap method itself will make sure that the database that you've got are people who want to be actively into your segments and into your list. So we know that list is clean and fantastic to go market to. And that's not always the case, I know, from email on occasion. Thanks.